What's up, guys? Divine here, and welcome to the second episode of the 2021 season in the Texas Rangers franchise. We're right after the first-year player draft, like always, and the Major League squad has not played how I would have hoped so far, but we do have a few guys that are underperforming, so I do expect us to get better and make a push for that wild card. I mean, we're only 3.5 back, and Elvis Andrus is hitting .213. Bubba Thompson isn't playing extremely well. Rougned Odor isn't playing very well, and it's a bit of a disappointment because, I was hoping for a bounce back season from Rougned. Looking at that contract, if he keeps playing like this, he won't be tendered in 2023. But that team option might be a good thing because, I don't know if we're going to pick that up. So Ronald Guzman is having another disappointing start to the year. Hopefully, like last year, he can pick it up in the second half. We did spend quite a bit of money to lock up Guzman. I mean, it wasn't like a significant amount of money. It was 37 over 6. But the bad thing is that 2026 year is a player option. So it's starting to look like that 2019 season from Ronald Guzman was maybe a bit of a fluke. Austin Hedges is played very well this year. He's on pace to be a 3-win player. He's leading the team in homers, so that's good. And the big thing from this year is JPM has really transcended into that everyday center fielder. Going into this year, we played a few guys in spring training, to see who would be the everyday center fielder. And he really just took that role over, not only in spring, but as well as he played 75 games last year, and he played very well. So never missed a step. This year he's playing even better, has over a 400 OBP, has a 336 average, and as a center fielder, he has nearly 1,000 OPS, so on pace for an 8.5 win season. Definitely going to be an all-star this year, so getting an unexpected surge of productivity from Julio Martinez, so that's good. Our two guys that we traded for, our two major trades in this offseason, Aaron Nola and Jake Junis, have played extremely well, especially Jake Junis. He's under a 3 ERA pitching in Texas, so that is very impressive. And that's even with, two pretty bad starts before his last one, which he went 6 innings with no runs given up. I mean, he's floated right around 3 ERA this entire season, so hopefully he can keep pitching like that. Aaron Nola has pitched very, very, very well for us. I mean, I know it doesn't look like he's having, maybe the type of year that he's had the past 3 seasons, and while that might be true, his first few starts in a Texas uniform, I mean, he had a horrific game. He gave up like 8 runs apiece in both of those games. So outside of that, he's been like a 3 ERA guy or so. So he's pitched very well. Frankie Montas has definitely taken a step back from last year. And I mean, I didn't expect the same level of productivity from Frankie Montas. I mean, there's a reason why we got him on waivers. But for right now, he is doing a decent job. We did call up Jonathan Hernandez, and he will be in the rotation for the rest of the year, it looks like. He looks like he's major league ready. We're going to see how he can do. I mean, he's going to get his opportunity. In his first start up, he went through 7 hits, 1 earned, so a very good start for him. Didn't walk anybody, and that's what you want to see from Jonathan Hernandez. I mean, he has great stuff. The only problem has always been his control, so it's only 1 start, but good sign there. And Joe Musgrove is flirting with being sent down. I mean, we have some arms in AAA that are ready to get called up, so I'm about had it with Joe Musgrove. I mean, this has been the one blemish on this much improved rotation. And he was probably the guy that I was most excited about signing in free agency, because that control is very elite, and it's something that we've lacked in this rotation the first 2 years of this series. But he's really gotten blown up this season. His ERA is up over 6, and his past 2 starts he went 3 1/3, gave up 6. His last start he went 5 innings, so he had pretty long leash there, and gave up 6 runs, and we gave up 13 and 12 in the respective games. So he hasn't been that guy that would go out and eat innings like I hoped. And we do have guys, like I said, in AAA that could be called up. Matt Boyd's been pitching decent in AAA. I mean, he could get called up in place of Joe Musgrove, and I think that's what we're going to do. Taylor Hearn is also a name that could get called up. He's been pitching very well in AAA. He did get called up to the ball club, the Major League Ball Club, at some point this year, and did not pitch very well, so that's why he's down. Brock Burke is another name, but he's got his chance in the majors in this series so far. That changeup never developed. He has 2+ pitches, but at this point it's probably a bullpen arm. This is a guy that we got from waivers from the Yankees, Jonathan Lasagna. That's his name to me, Jonathan Lasagna. He's from Nicaragua. He has pitched decent in AAA. I'm just kind of like waiting for somebody to just pitch extremely well in AAA and like kind of force himself into the majors. Taylor Hearn has pitched well, like I said, but he got his chance and didn't pitch very well. So this may be the guy that we call up in place of Joe Musgrove. If Matt Boyd doesn't work out, I think we're going to do this right now. We're actually going to call up Matt Boyd and do this, because I've had it with Musgrove. And this guy, I mean, he's pitched very well, but he hasn't had any starts this year in AAA. We might set his game strategy to starting pitcher. I'll have to see after the episode and evaluate that. Yohander Mendez has been a name in the farm system for a while now. Maybe he gets a chance to come up and start. Has, again, a guy that has been coming out of the pen, but he has pitched well in AAA. So maybe we'll see what he's got. Chris Martin. Like, we have a bunch of major league fringe guys in AAA that could call up. I mean, we have a lot of depth. Christian Arroyo is a guy that I was hoping would play very well in AAA like he did last year, and maybe be called up for a depth piece or even start over Ibanez if he struggled. But yeah, it doesn't look like he's playing very well. We could go over the prospects real quick since we're here already. Orozco got the call up to A-ball. He was originally going to start the year in low A-ball, but if you go here and put it on South Atlantic, which is the league he's playing in, he's a 2.5 star. He's 50 contact, 80 gap power, 50 power, and 50 avoid K. So he looks like he's ready to be up there. I was going to start him here, and he's a 3.5 star, so he would have killed it there. We'll try to test him a little bit, see what he can do. If he doesn't struggle, maybe he gets the call up to high A before the end of the year, but I don't want to rush him because it's not like we need a center fielder right now. Jason Hodges, if you guys remember him, we took him we took him in the comp round after Jack Leiter, and it looks like he is developing nicely. He's been tearing it up in A-ball this year. In 50 games, he's hit 4 homers, which isn't a lot for a guy like him. He has unreal power, but his average is up over 270, so that's good to see. He's in A-ball. We go here. And yeah, he's a 3-star player, 60 power, 55. So he's tearing it up there for a reason. Or however the fuck you say that. It looks like he is tearing it up for a reason as well. So that's a thing if you guys are new to OOTP and you're watching, you can go here pretty easily and see, if a guy is ready for the level that you are potentially calling him up to. I use that tool every single save that I use. Apostle, the player to be named in the Pirates trade, really hasn't panned out to be anything special. These are our 2 draft picks, which will be starting the year in rookie ball, obviously. We'll force start him at first base. Matt Cronin, I think he was a 2nd round pick after Jason Hodges and Matt Leiter. He did struggle last year in A-ball, but this year he's pitching much better in high A, which is a bit strange, but we go here and he's definitely ready to be in high A. We're going to keep him there since he's not dominating or anything, but we'll keep him there. He's 23, almost 24, so he's getting to that stage where he can get a taste of the majors. Just would like him to develop that control a bit. As you see, that walk rate is 5.6 per 9, and that's not very good, even from a bullpen piece. But if he keeps improving, he will get his taste of the majors. Mackenzie Gore, the guy that we got, the main piece that we got in the Joey Gallo trade, is looking like he is just not going to work here. And I tried to, I tried to see if I could flip him for somebody, and nobody's really interested. So yeah, while we had to make room for Bubba Thompson and kind of had to move Gallo at that point, as he just did not fit what I had in mind for this Texas team. It is looking like the Padres potentially won that trade, as they didn't give up too much for him, but it looks like he's doing much of the same, hitting around the Mendoza line with a higher OBP this year, which I'll give him that. But he's still not even a 900 OPS guy, and that's kind of the number which he needs to be floating around 1,000 if he's being extremely productive. They do have him playing left field, on pace to hit 40 homers again. So looks like he's about much of the same, same old Joey Gallo. And then if we go to look at Miyamoto, the guy the main piece that we traded in the Aaron Nola deal, still a remarkable talent, but he's not playing very well this year. He's on pace for over 100 stolen bases, which is just absolutely just remarkable. And he's only got caught stealing 3 times out of 44 attempts. So that's just wow. On pace for 8 out of 113. I mean, that's crazy. The power numbers are down. The RBI numbers are down, even from a leadoff guy. The average is definitely down, as well as the OBP. So he's really struggled at the plate, but he's definitely going to figure it out. I mean, he's struggling in his first year with Philly. which makes me feel a little bit better about that trade, especially since Aaron Nola's pitching so well. But he's still been really good defensively, and he's still a freak athlete, so I'm sure he'll figure it out. Other than that, Espinosa's still in he's still in the international system. Would he be ready for rookie ball? No. Okay. Looks like he has actually declined a bit, which is interesting. Cole Winn is pitching fairly well in high A ball. Made the jump this year and he's handled it pretty nicely. If you go and see, looks like he's very much so ready for this level, so we'll keep him there. Potentially next year he gets the call up to AA. Cole Wilcox actually got the call to join Cole Winn. So you got 2 Coles atop the high A rotation, and looks like he's very much so ready for this level, 3-star. So that's good for them. In his first start, he went 5 2/3, no runs, so that's obviously good. We go and look at Jack Leiter. It looks like we kind of know who he is now. There's a potential that he could be, maybe a solid bullpen piece, but he's just not going to be that ace that we had in mind when we drafted him. So, let's not mince any words. I mean, I fucked up on this pick. You have an 8th overall pick in the draft. You want to get somebody that is potentially a cornerstone piece in your franchise, and I blew this pick. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So, yeah, it's pretty bad, but going forward, like I said, I expect us to play better. There's a potential that we could maybe make a trade for an offensive piece, maybe like a middle infielder. Elvis Andrews and Rougned Odor just really aren't getting it done. I mean, I expect them to pick it up, but Elvis has declined a bit. As you see, he's not very good at hitting righties anymore. He's still really good at the plate hitting lefties, and he's still very good in the field. But the speed and hitting righties, just at this point in his career, getting older, almost 33, he's declined a bit at the plate. So that's not very good, especially since he's on contract for 1 more year. Was hoping he would hold up until the end of that contract, but it's looking like he might not even be a starter next year. Rougned Odor, like we looked at earlier, another guy with 1 more year after this, and then probably won't have that picked up. If he doesn't pick up the offensive production, then he's definitely on the chopping block as well. Even defensively, he's declined a bit. But yeah, the rotation is much improved. The bullpen is obviously much improved. Bobby Wall is another guy that we got off waivers, so we've been actively looking at the waiver wire and picking up guys that can potentially help this ball club, especially for years to come. This is a prime example of bullpen pieces are pretty easy to find in this game. A lot of them get sent up and down. They struggle in a few starts, and they'll get sent down to AAA for a guy that's playing well, and he's out of options, and they have to DFA him, and then they get picked up on waivers. So I'm really liking where the farm's at, especially after the young guys that we got in the draft. I can't remember if I showed the draft or not. I don't think I did. I've recorded this video twice, so I'm sorry. Ty Madden was the guy that we got in the first round from Texas. Another pitcher taken in the first round by me. That changeup looks very elite. Tops out at 95-ish. Can throw deep into ball games. Isn't very good at holding runners, but isn't horrible. Needs that curveball to develop into, at least 60, which is his ceiling, according to my scout. Needs to throw strikes because his stuff isn't elite and the movement isn't elite. But that changeup was just really too much to pass on, and we had a later first-round pick. So I was originally going to go Rock Riggio, which is a guy that I like, especially in last year's version of OOTP. Just an unreal athlete, and defensively is amazing, and you see that work ethic. So I really liked Rock Riggio, but he was actually taking the pick before us, so that was unfortunate. Another name that I was looking at with the 19th pick was Alejandro Rosario, and the big thing was the stamina. Obviously that can be improved, but especially with us, we need guys that can go, at least 6 innings. And he's very raw. You never know if that control is going to develop. You never know if that changeup is going to develop, even though it's listed as an elite pitch. You never know even if it's going to develop at all. It looks like he is going to have 3 nice pitches, but he also has some question marks that come with him. Kumar Rocker is another name that I was looking at, but the control is just too much to overlook. His stuff is great. Austin Becker was really the guy that I was looking at taking if it wasn't Madden. The stuff is good. The control is just as good, but he's a low leader. He didn't have the personality that Madden has, and I value personality probably much more than most players. But yeah, it's important to me because a lot of the times you see guys with good personality, they develop better. And but yeah, I think Austin Becker does turn out to be a decent pitcher, at least like a very effective back of the rotation guy. He's 6'5", 190, so has the frame to be a very, very good pitcher, and he's in that Braves organization, which is going to help him develop very nicely. With our second round pick, we went Ishmael Flores. I've already talked about him. He's amazing. I mean, I had to spend $5 million. He was an impossible signee, but I couldn't wait, and I drafted him in the second round. So if he didn't sign, then I actually get that pick back next year. So which is why I drafted him so early, but we did get him, and our scout thinks that he has the potential to be a cornerstone player as a first baseman. He's a right-handed hitter as well, so we just had to get him there in that spot. He was the best player available. It didn't really matter about money, and we ended up getting him. So thank goodness. He is raw. Don't get me wrong. There's always that potential that he doesn't pan out. But the talent's there, as you can see. I mean, our scout thinks that he's going to be a cornerstone player. OSA also thinks that he's even going to be better. So while he is a prep bat, it's a bit of a low risk, in comparison to other guys. In the second round, JP Gates was another guy that I was looking at, but we have a lot of pitchers in this farm, and I kind of wanted to go with a high potential prep bat, even if it was a bit risky. Luke Leto is the guy that I went in the third round. I was actually thinking about going Luke Leto in the second round because he wasn't an impossible signee, but he was listed as a pitcher, and we can go ahead and take a look at his ratings as a pitcher. I mean, he was like a 1-star potential as a pitcher, as you guys can see here. But if you look at his batting potential, obviously this jumped out at me. So we're actually going to develop him as a shortstop, and obviously he's a plus defender at shortstop, has a plus arm as he was listed as a pitcher, very athletic. 65 speed, 70 base running, and has the potential to be an 80 contact guy, and the rest of the hitting stats are very nice as well. He's another prep bat, so he's a young 18, so, obviously, just like Ishmael, there's a potential that he doesn't develop to be anywhere near this, but I trust my scout a lot, and OSA thinks that he's going to be extremely good as well. So those are two guys that we got in the draft that I'm really excited about. In the 4th round, we got Jonathan Truitt, which is a bit of a safer pick, has plus third baseman arm, so he's going to be a plus defender at third. The bat is a bit of a question mark, but he was there in the 4th round, so we had to take him. So we got some guys in this draft that I'm really excited about. Even if one of them develop nicely, then this draft is a major success. But anyways, I'll see you guys either after the trading deadline if we make a big trade to try to help this team make a run this year, or if we're just too far behind and we're not really in a position to try to win this year, then I'll see you guys like always at the beginning of the off season. So thank you guys for watching. This series has been a blast. Hopefully we get into the playoffs and start trying to win that World Series that we've been chasing since 2009, 2010. But like always, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you like the video, if you've liked the series so far. Leave a comment with whatever suggestions or what have you. But anyways, peace out, guys.